As Wu Suowei stood at his mother's funeral, he lowered his head and whispered beneath his breath, "Mom, I will be a good son, I promise, but I'm sorry. I can't marry a wife like you always dreamed for me. Because I've already fallen in love with Chi Cheng, and if there's a next life, please be my mother again. I'll find you. I'll come back to you. Forever your little boy, Wu Suowei." He bit his lip to keep from crying, but the pain was too heavy, the emptiness too loud. Chi Cheng watched from a distance, knowing exactly what his baby needed. He walked over slowly, and without saying a word, he pulled Wu Suowei into his arms. "Suowei, don't cry." But Wu Suowei couldn't hold it in anymore. The tears that he had bottled up for days finally spilled raw, aching, unstoppable. He had tried to be strong for so long, but right now, in Chi Cheng's arms, he could finally be weak. Chi Cheng gently cupped his face, his own eyes already red. His voice trembled. "Baby, don't cry." But Wu Suowei just shook his head and broke down harder, sobbing so violently he could no longer stand properly. He buried his face in Chi Cheng's shoulder, letting the pain take over. "Suowei, Wu Suowei, I'm here. Be obedient, and do not cry." But Chi Cheng knew those words wouldn't work this time. How could they? This wasn't just about grief. This was years of hidden love, parental pressure, secrets, sacrifice, everything that had made Wu Suowei keep so much locked away. And now it all came crashing down. In that moment, everything else vanished. Those rumors, the misunderstandings, the doubts. They meant nothing. Because Chi Cheng finally saw the most vulnerable side of the person he loved. And that was enough. He pulled Wu Suowei tighter, heart breaking with every tremor from his lover's body. He couldn't stop this pain, but he could hold him through it. Meanwhile, Dabao, who still struggled to understand that his mother was truly gone, sat quietly, holding a framed picture to his chest. He didn't cry at first. He didn't even speak. He just stared, like he was waiting for her to return. It wasn't until Chi Cheng gently pushed him, just enough to crack the wall around his emotions, that the truth finally hit. She wasn't coming back. Not to the kitchen, not to his bedroom to kiss him goodnight. Not ever. And that's when Dabao broke. He wailed like a child who'd lost his whole world, tears soaking his sleeves, small fists pounding his legs. He didn't understand why life had to be so unfair. He didn't know how to be okay without her. Chi Cheng held on to him too. He didn't try to fix anything. He didn't tell Dabao to be strong. He just stayed, letting Dabao cry, shout, grieve however he needed. He knew this would happen. He knew his precious baby would be the shattered. And that's exactly why he couldn't leave him alone to face it. So Chi Cheng swallowed his pride, set aside his own sorrow, and showed up just like he always did. "What are you doing here?" Wu Suowei's voice was tired, but his eyes still burned with defiance. Chi Cheng's tone was cold, sharp enough to slice through the tension in the room. "Came to see your pathetic state." Wu Suowei flinched. He should have expected this. He always did when Chi Cheng was angry. "Wang Shuo's flight is today," Wu Suowei said, trying to keep his voice even. "If you don't hurry, you won't make it." But Chi Cheng didn't move. "No rush," he replied, voice flat. "I haven't had enough of watching you suffer yet. How could I possibly leave with Wang Shuo while you're like this?" The words hit harder than they should have. Even though Wu Suowei knew Chi Cheng was just venting, saying things he didn't really mean. His heart still ached. "Then look all you want," he muttered. "Best make it satisfying while you're at it." But Chi Cheng wasn't finished. He took a step closer, eyes narrowing. "You have no idea how good it feels to see you like this." Still, Wu Suowei didn't respond. He couldn't. He sat there silently, gaze locked to the floor. That's when Chi Cheng noticed it. A single tear slipped down the bridge of Wu Suowei's nose, gathered at the tip, then fell slow and heavy onto the desk, right into Chi Cheng's heart. He turned his head quickly, as if the sight burned him. But even then, he couldn't stop himself. Still forcing coldness into his voice, he said, "Cry all you want. The more you cry, the happier I get. I came here just to see you cry." Wu Suowei squeezed his eyes shut, lips trembling. He wanted to stay strong, to hold it in. But the tears kept falling, quiet, desperate, unrelenting. "You tricked people's feelings," Chi Cheng added. "Of course it hurts. No one's going to pity you." That sentence shattered everything. The dam inside Wu Suowei broke, and he sobbed. Not the silent kind. Not the restrained kind. But the deep, broken sobs that came from the gut. The kind that said he had nothing left. The room filled with his cries, raw and painful. And Chi Cheng, despite everything he said, felt his chest cave in. Because he never meant for it to go this far. But it already had. Wu Suowei went from silent tears to soft sobs, to full-on, howling cries that echoed through the room. Each cry tore through the air, raw and agonizing, and each one shattered Chi Cheng's emotional defenses, the cold front he had tried so hard to maintain. Gone! He couldn't say another cruel word, not when Wu Suowei was crying like his heart had just been ripped out. Without thinking, Chi Cheng stepped forward and pulled him into his arms. One hand slid through Wu Suowei's hair. The other cupped his tear-soaked face. His voice, once sharp and cold, now trembled with emotion. "Wei Wei, don't cry anymore." But Wu Suowei couldn't stop. Days, maybe weeks of pent-up grief had finally found a way out. And there was no holding it back now. His body shook in Chi Cheng's arms, chest heaving as sobs poured out, one after another. Chi Cheng's eyes were red. His lips pressed against Wu Suowei's temple. "Baby, please, no more tears." But even then, the sobs didn't slow. Wu Suowei cried until he couldn't breathe, until his lungs ached, until the world tilted and spun. And through it all, Chi Cheng never let go. He held him tighter. He became his anchor, the strong one, the safe one. The only one. Only one shoulder was left for Wu Suowei to lean on. And that was enough. "Wei Wei, I'm here. It's okay." "I'm here." He whispered the words over and over, as if repeating them could turn back time, or take the pain away. And for a moment, as the sobs slowly quieted, as Wu Suowei clung to Chi Cheng like he was the last person on earth, it felt like maybe, just maybe, they would be okay. If this scene moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more emotional BL moments like this. Tell me in the comments, would you forgive someone who broke you, but also held you when you shattered?